We are back, baby.
Hey.
Back. Welcome to another edition of Drunk on Broad. I am your host, Rich Conroy, joined alongside Nick the Daddy and always Don Juan Conaway. Boys, how does it feel to be sitting on top of the NFC East alone?
It feels good, man. Like goddamn good. Like that was the first time that I sat back and just kind of just chilled out and just watched the game and just appreciated everything that was going on. And we'll get into the details of it, but like it was a very stress-free kind of like just watching to see what this team is going to be. And I think there was a lot to take home as far as what to look forward to for this season. And I think for the next handful of seasons. Gave me kind of shades of, the early days of like Andy, maybe not the beginning of the season, but like as he started to establish himself. So I'm just looking forward to that, man.
I am pumped. Nick, how did you feel after that big win?
It's a good win. I mean, especially when you can win a week that all three of the other teams in your division lose. You know what I mean? You have to take advantage of that. You knew the Cowboys, Unigo getting Dak back, they're going to be in a better spot. They couldn't be worse than they were last year, right, at spots. So you have to, you're glad Tampa took care of business in that game. Won. Giants, they're going to, they are who we thought they were already. Washington, as much as people like them, their defense is going to keep them in games, but, they lost starting quarterback, right? So it's going to be fun.
It's very true. Let's get to our housekeeping before we continue to talk birds. Fantasy football.
Don't ask Rich, man. He's all sad now.
Our Golden Mike League is kicked off, and your boys are winless. Your boys are winless in the Golden Mike.
I'm 1-1.
Oh, Nick's 1-1. Sorry, how we do it is you play the median score of the league, and you get an extra win. Nick lost, but is 1-1. But I think you also scored how many points?
180 points.
180 points and lost. But that's why we do the median. I got my butt kicked. Thank you, Ryan Fitzpatrick, for dying, and thank you, Raheem Mostert, for dying. And now I spent all my fab on a running back. So,
what was the median score for the league?
I think it was like 140-something, right? 140-something?
Around there, yeah.
And I barely scored like 100 points. So that was terrible.
Yeah,
but
Chris, I'm 0 too.
Yeah, me and Don pretty much got our asses kicked. And shout out to me making fun of Carmel Honey for drafting Tyler Heineke because, hey, now you have a starting quarterback, and I don't. So congratulations. The Golden Mike League is underway, and your boys are getting their asses kicked. Not because we have bad teams, because we have bad luck.
It's a bad week.
Long
season.
It's fantasy football season. It's week 1. I'm excited.
It.
Adam, what is going on? How do we do in Adam's league? Nick?
We lost. It was close, though. Yeah, because Mostert died.
Oh, yes, of course.
We've got a 45-point game from Kyler Murray and didn't win. Just crazy. And Mixon. We didn't win.
Adam?
We lost 140 to 125.
Wow. Yeah, that's –
Let me look. Let's see. So the guy that we played had Aaron Rodgers, and we still lost because he had DeAndre Hopkins, Travis Kelce, Chris Godwin, and Josh Jacobs. So the rest – nobody on our team showed up except for – Joe Mixon and Kyler Murray, and we also had 24 from Antonio Brown on the bench. So,
yeah, Antonio Brown starts from now on. I say that's what we do.
Its problem is that Adam. It's only 3 receivers I can start, bud. Not nice.
Not nice, Adam.
I have 4 good receivers now. I got to pick and choose. Do I sit T. Higgins or do I sit?
Oh, I forgot about T. Higgins. Yeah, people took Devontae Smith. I took him in a league. Nick took him in another league. Don probably took him in another league.
I think I have him in another league. But.
Yeah, everybody took Devontae Smith. But let's get back to it. Let's talk about our boys in the big win. I'm just going to give you a play-by-play of what was going through my mind. The beginning of the game started slow, obviously. I wasn't a real big fan of the play calling. Just was like, okay, did Doug leave his playbook? Did Jim Schwartz leave his playbook behind because the defense just looked wonky? Just didn't look right. But, man, as they got through the game, feed Miles Sanders. That boy was looking incredible.
I mean, Rich, I would argue with you. Like, I didn't mind some of the play calling at the beginning. I liked trying to get the ball to Quez in space early. Like, they went to him, 3 straight times to start the game. I like the focus on the RPO, and it puts Hurts in a position to be able to get to get him in space. And the more that he's a threat to run, the more that pass it becomes more of an asset. So I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the beginning. I thought the defense. Why Atlanta went away from a lot. Like, they had a bunch of stuff that was successful on those first 2 drives.
Running the ball.
And they went away from it. And I have no idea why. So, I like the fact that they were able to the only reason that game didn't get away from them was because they were able to hold them to 2 field goals and not touchdowns.
Yeah.
If they give up, if they get 10 or 14 points in those 2 possessions, that's the feel of the game is very different.
Agreed.
Yeah, the play calling, I understand it from both perspectives, Rich, because I get that the RPO, you need to do some stuff like that. I think that Sirianni probably went into this thinking, okay, how can I get Jalen into a rhythm early, get him comfortable early, try and get some of these guys in space just to see, you never know. That first play, that screen pass, he could have took that to the house, you know what I mean? Like, that can happen. Or it could blow up and you get -5. So I don't have a problem with that. I do think that it was a lot of the same stuff he ran throughout the game, but it was working because I think this game says as much about Atlanta as it does about the Eagles, right? I don't think that the Eagles are far and above. I'm not like, oh my God, they're so good, but I think Atlanta is pretty bad, right? So like, we saw that Atlanta is pretty bad, and when you play a team that is inferior to you, you should win them. You should win those games like that. That's a game that the Eagles, right, the Phillies, we notice in this city, they played down the competition. So if we're not doing that, that's a step in the right direction. There's a couple things that I think I would like to see more of from the offensive side. Defense, Gannon made some adjustments. I agree. Like, Ridley kind of disappeared in that game, partly because of the pass rush, partly because I think that Gannon kind of figured it out. He didn't keep Slay on him, which, now that you have Nelson, you don't always have to do that, right? Last year, he would have had no choice because if you put Maddox on Ridley, it's going to be a long game.
Yeah.
So defense, I think that's going to come along. He's going to adjust, and that's fine. Offense, there's one thing that still concerns me with Jalen Hurts, and that's, does he have the arm talent? I'm still going to say that because he had that. We talked about it, Rich, earlier with that one throw where he stepped up and he had Ertz. That could have been a touchdown. If he just steps that and rips it, they were like, oh, he needs more touch. No, if you step in that and you rip that and then Ertz catches it running, it's probably a touchdown.
Yeah, it's probably
but
6. Yeah.
You stepped into it and you looked like you tried to rip it, and you either got hesitant or you thought you need to put more touch on it. And Ertz technically didn't really catch that ball. We saw in the slow.
No, he didn't
catch that. But I mean, he had to stop and stop his momentum. So it was a big play, but it could have been a touchdown, right? And against a team like Tampa Bay, like Kansas City, like Dallas, you need that to be a touchdown.
Yeah, you're going to need that one to be 6.
Put up points. So, that's where I want to see. I want to see him step into the ball, rip it. I want to watch the Rams game. What did they do? Matthew Stafford, bootleg, let it fly deep. The Eagles didn't do that. Now, granted, they didn't have to do that this week, and I don't want them to show all their tricks, right? I don't want Sirianni to show his hand early. It's fine. You got these good teams coming up. But I still think you need to show it so that Jalen can either get comfortable with it and just see if he can do it. If he can step in and rip on 55 yards and hit a guy in stride, I'll be like, great. At least I know he can do it. So
yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Like, I'm right there with you. Like, and I think he's got to get to that point at some point in the season. And that may not be right now. I mean, he may. I think what you're going to see is this play calling evolve, right? The rollouts and the short dump offs to Rager or to Ertz or to Goddard. I think at some point, you've got now Devontae Smith running a fly route, across the hash, and maybe you get the safety cheating up, you catch him in a one-on-one spot, and I think in a one-on-one, I like his footwork was incredible. To go back and watch some of those the catches that he has, even the on the sideline, the toe tap, where he was never in a position in college where he very rarely had to do that. So for him to be able to pick that up, and even in the interview post game where he's talking about the NFL game actually felt slow, that to me, tells me we got some we got a. And listen, it's one game, but he looked as real deal as any of those rookie.
He's basically a rookie too.
Yeah. So, I'm just the connection between him and Hurts. They seem to be kind of I can only guess that their history at Alabama makes that continuity all that much better. If there's one thing to knock Hurts on, it's that arm talent.
Yeah. I think that was my biggest takeaway from the game. Adam asked, do you guys think Hurts can throw the ball more than 60 yards with his arm?
Honestly, know.
I don't know, and I don't expect him to ever make that throw unless it's a Hail Mary at the end. I don't know if he holds on to the ball too long and he ends up throwing it in the dirt, tries to put too much mustard on it, and he just
like McNabb used to do all the time.
Exactly. Like he puts too much mustard on it and he just doesn't trust it. So he just grounds it. I don't know. I mean, I want to go back and look at it, but he needs to start hitting those wide receivers in stride. The good thing is my takeaway from the game is I love the fact that he's smart with his runs. He's getting down. He's not taking the hits. I love seeing that. Because, 67 yards rushing, you can't beat that from your starting quarterback. The running game all day was great. I loved seeing Kenneth Gainwell as the number 2. I loved seeing Miles Sanders pretty much dominate the backfield touches. And then you bring in Kenneth Gainwell in the 2-minute because, he's the better pass catcher. And Kenneth Gainwell looked really good. Jalen Reagor surprised me, which I was happy because he was catching balls. Zach Ertz going down with the hamstring. It was only a matter of time before something happened with Zach.
Came back in, though.
He came back in, but it was precautionary that they wanted to sit him down. I get it. I just need to see this offense. Like you said, Nick, you don't want to show your whole bag of tricks, but I need to see them expand. I love the whole West Coast and let's just get the ball out quick and we'll just work it that way. I like the fact that they were running in between the tackles, running east to west. I think Miles Sanders was doing a little too much when he should have stayed in, trying to cut to the outside on a few runs where I feel like he would have had more, but I'm not an NFL running back. I'm just watching it from at home. If I was, that would be dope. But I have a chemical imbalance in my brain that says my legs can't run fast.
You could be Toby Gerhardt if you want, Rich.
Oh, Toby Gerhardt. I want to be Peyton Hillis and just run straight and run through people. I think he had like 2,000 yards one year, just fucking crazy. But I love the fact that our defense stepped up with that pass rush. I hate the whole fact and all these people saying, well, the Eagles are probably going to lose against Atlanta. And then they go, oh, it's just Atlanta. Like, stop with that. Like, stop playing the narrative of like both sides. The Eagles won a great game that they played. Atlanta could be absolutely hot dog shit, which is fine too. But don't discredit a win. A win's a win. Are you going to say that? Are people going to go out there and say, oh, Baltimore's a garbage team because they lost last night against the Raiders, who I think are a way inferior team than Baltimore? No, they're going to say, oh, man, Baltimore got upset.
Any given Sunday, Rich. That's what they say, man.
Any given Sunday.
Well, and
give the Falcons credit, but I'm not giving them any credit because they fucking sucked.
Listen, even if they are a crappy team, then you do what a good team would do, and you beat the crappy team. You don't play down to the talent. But Rich, I think to speak to one of the things you were talking about his that there were a lot of times where I loved the decision making. The one play where he's getting a lot of pressure, scrambles out to the right, is kind of pressed to the sideline, and just throws it away.
Yeah.
Right. There wasn't. What I loved is that I didn't see anybody trying to be a hero.
No hero
all day long,
which is nice.
So you took the play that was there, you took the yards that were there, you take the progression, you move forward. If that means you throw the ball out of bounds, and you take the next play, then you take the next play. Even if that play is 4th down and punt, you didn't take
better than a sack, better than a turnover.
Yep.
and not having any turnovers, taking care of the ball. Rich, you were talking about the running back room. The one thing that I really saw was their attention to detail in terms of blocking.
Yes.
Right. There were a lot of blitzes that were picked up. You didn't see a lot of miscommunication in terms of the blocking. If there's one thing that you're gonna say that they got to work on is the penalties. Trying to take care of those.
That was a terrible fucking. Oh my god! How are you going to call? All right, we got to talk about this because this really pissed me off because I've never seen this ever watching football. How do you call defensive holding on running plays? 2 defensive holdings on running plays.
It's kind of weird.
Remember,
you know what I'm saying? It's early for the refs too, so.
But that is so if they got the call right, it would have been holding on the offense twice. Because I believe it was like Josh Sweat. No, was it Josh Sweat? Was it Sweat? I think it might have been Sweat both times. Where he literally, the one he got dragged to the ground and pushed, and they called defensive holding, and there was nothing there. And then the first one, he literally was being held, and his arm was around the guy's back, and the play is to the left. It doesn't make any sense. I've never seen defensive holding called twice on a running play. I mean, I'm used to seeing like a DB holding. Like, okay, you call it defensive holding. But on a lineman holding offensive lineman?
Yeah, it's really weird.
It doesn't make sense. But like you said, Don, I think penalties are the thing. But here's the one thing that I love. They played so well together. They looked in sync. It looked like a united team. It looked like a united front. I haven't seen the Eagles play as a team since the Super Bowl, which is fucking crazy because that was 2017?
5 years ago now, basically.
5 years ago. I haven't seen, I'm excited for these guys because they're excited to be on this team together. And that's the one thing that I saw with the pregame, with the postgame. I don't want Jason Kelce to retire. Mailata looked like a fucking animal. Offensive line looks immaculate, except for the first 2 drives. But then they just stepped it up and they were great. And that defensive line, like Hargrave, this is what you're getting paid to do. And you're doing it. Like we said, and people are going to say, well, it's just the Falcons. It's still NFL talent. They're still going up against players in the NFL. You're good to play in the NFL no matter what people say.
They weren't playing the Toronto Argonauts, right? They weren't playing the Philadelphia Soul.
They weren't playing the Miami Hurricanes. They stink. My Hurricanes fucking brutal. Brutal.
But Rich, I love what the coach speak from Sirianni about correcting the things that are their mental mistakes, being able to correct those mistakes and being able to say we got to get better. It's not that we're bad technique wise; they're just mental errors, right? So we have to get more. We have to work more on that mental piece to know that we're going to be able to get better and get a better product on the field. It's just, there was a lot to like about the play in the trenches. I mean, like you said, Mailata looked like a grown ass man. Nick, you were sharing. You sent us the one clip that was on Instagram about him literally knocking a dude down with one arm.
Wasn't even his man.
And it wasn't even his guy. The play that he makes on the Rager screen that goes for a touchdown where he basically buries a guy. He just play after play after play. There were so many plays that I saw the clips circulating around where people are highlighting his technique. And not just his, but Rich, there was one run with Sanders where Kelce pulls around the block, and then in the midst of that play, blocks 2 different guys as he's going down, as he's leading that charge down the field. That's the kind of leadership on the field that a veteran like him brings to this team, and it makes that unit stronger.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think the offensive line being healthy has a lot to do with the blitz pickups too and the communication. Obviously, that was a big problem last year. And And it wasn't just the fact that like Sanders was missing pickups. It just was when you have these guys that aren't starters all the time playing the position not normally playing, it's hard for them to pick it up. When you have Kelsey, Brooks, and Johnson out there, they can kind of tell you, hey, this guy's blitzing, pick this up. Yeah. But I give Sanders a lot of credit because he stepped up and he played the blitz really well. That's 10. He's 10 times better than it was last year. That's a huge thing for a running back to be able to stay on the field. And if you want to get paid and be that guy, you have to be able to pass pro. Just a thing in this league. So we'll see. I mean, I hope they use a little bit of nuance in their offense a little bit more next week, right? They're playing San Fran, who's going to want to run the ball a lot and try and keep their offense off the field. So I would like to see a little bit of if you remember, like when Washington first had RG3 and they would run kind of a lot of RPO, but they would also set it up with some bootleg and then take some deep shots.
Right.
We need to do that a little bit more, especially San Fran just lost the number one corner to torn ACL and Jason Verrett. Yep. Take advantage of that. Now he was going to be the one covering Devontae, so now Devontae has a better matchup, right?
Against a newly signed Drake or Patrick, who will probably slide into their number one role, who stinks.
Yeah, I mean, they could have brought Richard Sherman back, but they decided not to do that for whatever reason. So,
well, he would just hold Smith the whole time anyway, because that's all Richard Sherman did last year was hold.
Yeah, but I'm saying at least he knows that system, so it's just weird that they would bring in a new corner instead of Richard Sherman for whatever reason. They might just think he's washed. Could be. Drake or Patrick's pretty washed too, so.
We're also looking at a 49ers team that also gave up 33 points to the Lions.
Yep, they had a big lead in that game, and they, for whatever reason, Jared Goff decided to look better than Jared Goff normally does.
Right.
So let's talk about this.
He threw the ball. Jared Goff threw the ball 59? Like he had 59 pass attempts in that game. And
he targeted the running backs and TJ Hawkinson on 83% of them.
They were catching everything, Rich. They were getting open.
Well, that's the problem. The wide receivers stink, so they run the offense through the tight end and through running backs. It's just how they're going to do it this year. And you saw when Verrett went out, the 49ers kind of fell apart because, all right, your best corner's out, and you get a bunch of guys in there who haven't been playing reps, and they go, okay, what's the best way to exploit them? Well, we're going to exploit them through their linebackers. We're going to throw the balls to our running back. That's what we're going to do. Chris wants us to give our predictions of the score, so I say we give our predictions, and then we'll revisit this as a talking point in a few minutes because I still want to talk about things that I didn't like that I saw and things that I did like that I saw again. So, Don, what do you think the prediction for this week is going to be?
I think it's a close game.
Yeah.
I think it's a game where it could look a lot like the 49ers game one against the Lions. I think there's a lot of points that could be put up. I don't know, man. I like a lot of what I saw, and the 49ers are not like blowing anybody out of the water. So I don't know. I'm going to go, 31-28 Birds.
I like it.
So weird. I had the same number in my head. That is so weird.
It's symbiotic.
I was thinking 31-27 Eagles, or I could see like a 33-30 type game from the Eagles. But listen, Adam, please, no Jake. I don't want Jake Elliott with a chance on the game on the line to win the game. He stinks. I hate Jake Elliott.
Outside.
Nope.
Jake Elliott stinks. He got this contract off that one kick he made against the Giants during the Super Bowl year, and he's been making it for us ever since. God, like there's kickers that miss 2 kicks. Like if you kick on the Patriots, you miss 2 kicks, you're cut. This dude misses 2 kicks a week, I think.
He's absolutely dog shit. But hey, that's our.
So I'll say 33-30 because I was in line with Don. I think the Eagles win, being at home in front of the home crowd. Yeah. They're starting to embrace the underdog mentality again a little bit. That dog mentality, I saw them with the hoodies. They're trying to embrace that. I think the Niners losing their number one corner, losing their number one running back is going to play a part in that, right? So I hope Sirianni pulls out some tricks, maybe a little trickery, see what he's got this week.
For week 2, you've got that. Is it who the Washington is playing the Giants
on Thursday night? Yes,
on Thursday night. So one of those teams is going to be 0-2. So you've got the chance if you can win this game and be 2 games up on a team in your division. That's not going to hurt you.
No,
and I said from season, this was never about. This season is not about wins and losses. This season is about finding the players that are on this team that are going to get better. If wins come in that process, great. They've got a rough stretch of games after this 49ers game.
They do.
So
you could be 2-0. That would be nice.
If you can get to be 2, if you can get 2 wins under your belt, maybe now instead of 6, maybe you're looking at 8, like 8 wins. It's just, winning the games that you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
And, what we saw last week gave us the information that we need to know that, San Francisco's not invincible. San Francisco's got, a lot of holes. They have a lot of talent though. Right. So let's not mistake that. They've got a lot of talent, in their wide receiver room. They've got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. So I don't want to sit here and say, lock it in. But it's definitely going to be a game. And I said this a while back. I could see this team playing a bunch of games and scoring a lot of points.
Yeah.
So
35-33, the Birds roll against San Fran. I think what happened with Brandon Ayuk on Sunday, him being in the doghouse, he's going to come out after his hamstring, have something to prove. Debo, he's going to be a tough cover, and we still don't have good linebackers. So someone's going to have to. So Kittle might. I have a feeling it's going to be more a pass heavy game, and I think we're going to see more Trey Lance because he's going to be able to escape the pocket. Because if that pocket does close on Jimmy G, he is very prone to making mistakes. So I have a feeling there's going to be a little more of that. I don't know what they were doing, like the swapping out with the quarterbacks. Going to be a little bit more with Trey Lance. So that also opens up the downfield play. But I do see the Birds exploiting that defense, exploiting those bad cornerbacks. Devonta Smith having a big game. Quez is going to sneak by. Honestly, it comes down to our offensive line play against their defensive line, and I think our strength will obviously be better than their strength. So I have to give this one to the Birds in a shootout because it's going to be at home. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's probably going to be humid, so maybe that ball flies a little more. So we'll see. I want to see Jalen Hurts step it up. But I want to get back to this Sunday because this Sunday was just great. So I want to talk about things that I liked and things that I didn't like. First thing I liked, Avonte Maddox played very well in the slot, and he played very well against Kyle Pitts. Also, we could also say Atlanta's offensive line was terrible, so Matt Ryan didn't have time to throw in the ball. But Avonte Maddox was there. He was there. He made 2 really good pass breakups against Kyle Pitts, and Kyle Pitts is a freak. So I like seeing that. Could have been jitters for the first-year tight end, whatever. But Avonte Maddox actually looked comfortable in the slot. I'll take that. Thing I didn't like, Jannard Avery fucking stinks. That dude fell over his feet like 3 times. This is why. No, but here's my problem with this. This is all Howie's fault because this was before Gannon was here. You do not sign a guy who's a D end his whole career and go, oh no, he's gonna be our number 2 linebacker. That just shows you how weak you are at linebacker, right? And it makes you look stupid. Eric Wilson looked good. Singleton, you know what he is. He's a flyer. He's always out of position, but he's an everywhere guy. But Anthony Harris played a good safety, and you got your two good corners. I'm fine with that. But get Jannard Avery off the field. He literally backpedaled, tripped, and then missed the tackle. And he was in position the whole time. Only thing I had to do was stand there, and he could have made the tackle.
Yeah.
How terrible are you? This is my problem with going into next Saturday. Because if we have to have that jerk off trying to stop George Kittle if they come out in like the 11 formation, right. It's going to be tough. And I don't want to see Jannard Avery do that. I don't. Nick, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that there's a lot of stuff that I liked. I mean, obviously, Jordan Mailata looked really good. I want to see him against Nick Bosa. That's going to be a really good matchup because as much of a freak as Nick Bosa is, Mailata is a mutant, right? You saw he's going to – if I feel like he's the type – he reminds me of – like his strength wise, if you watch him, he looks like when we first got Jason Peters, like if he gets a paw on you, you got no shot. So like if Mailata gets his hand on one of these guys' shoulders or chest, they got no shot. Doesn't matter who you are. Like I watch him and I'm like, damn, I feel like if Aaron Donald spun on him and he put his hand on him, he would just stop and be like, "You're not going anywhere, young fella. You're not going nowhere." He's so big, and he's like, I'm just in awe of a dude that's that big that has great feet. He reminds me of, like, listen, I like boxing. Like Tyson Fury is the same size, 6'8", and he has really light feet, and you're like, that dude doesn't even look athletic. Now, Mailata looks athletic, but you watch Tyson Fury, like, this dude's got a dad bod. Yeah. He's got these long ass arms. He don't look muscular, but then you watch him boxing, like, why is he so light on his feet? How come he moves so well? It's because he got really good feet, right? And that's playing rugby his whole year. I'm sure he probably played soccer in Australia growing up, right? So all that stuff helps with your footwork. So being a tackle now, you just have to move your body side to side. Like, he's used to carrying the football, running people over. So now he's like, this is nice. I get to just put my hands out, knock a guy down. I'm getting paid a ton of money. I just got paid. Phillies fans came down to the stadium. They gave me a bottle of champagne after the game. You guys see that?
That was awesome.
A Budweiser,
Bud Light,
the Bud Light champagne, and I'm like,
awesome.
So I want to see that. I think that's a really good test for our offensive line. Now, this is one of the benefits of having a mobile quarterback, because if somebody does get through on a blitz or whatever, Hurts is able to scramble. He also is comfortable throwing on the run. You see that. But like I said, Rich, I need to see him get flushed, sprint to his right, and just let it rip. Like, I saw Kyler rip one like that with his both feet off the ground.
Yeah,
rip. He's a baseball player, so he's comfortable throwing that.
Yep.
So it's like, and they're the similar size-wise, but Kyler can just let it rip. Like, I want to see Jalen scroll out to the right. Like, Russell Wilson can roll to the right, and he can just throw an absolute missile.
Baseball player.
You know what I mean? Baseball player, yeah. Middle infielder. So he's got the quick release. So I need to see Jalen roll to the right and just throw an absolute dart to Goddard or Devontae Smith going, you know what I mean? Like, that throw to Goddard in the end zone, he let that one rip a little bit, right? But also that was a 20-yard throw. Let me see if he did that on a 35-yard, a hash line throw. Like, if he does that, then I'm going to be like, all right, cool. Like, now I feel comfortable. And I'm sure Sirianni wants to see that too in the game, right? Because in practice is one thing, but in the flow of the game, you got Nick Bosa chasing you from the back, you know what I mean? And you're like, all right, I need to get on the move and just let it rip. So I want to see if they do some bootlegs along with the RPO. Like, I don't want them to fall in love with the RPO like Doug used to do, where you'd run it and then you're like, all right, like we talked about it, Rich, on that one play. It was like a 4th and 1 or 4th and 4. Why are you going to run an RPO? Like, they're not going to run the ball there.
Just,
you know what I mean? So like,
off immediately.
But like that 4th and 4, I would have been like, okay, either you run. If I'm Jalen, you get to the line, you go, okay, I don't like this look. So we're going to stay in the same formation, but I'm going to run that tight end curl. He gets me 6 yards. I hit him right in the chest.
Quick slant, anything.
Yeah. Or Devontae comes across the middle and I hit him and he goes down for 6 yards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or a halfback wheel route. Like, I want to see something like that. Gainwell on a wheel route. Like, we need to see some.
I know, dude.
Some of that stuff. Like, I really want to see that. So this is a good test because San Fran they do have a really good roster, but take advantage of those corners, man. A secondary is not the same without their number one corner. They're number 1 and 2. Last year, Sherman was their 2. So they're down both of their corners right now. They got young kids in there. So let's go.
Go ahead, Don.
Listen, the thing that I took one of the biggest takeaways I took away was that under 2-minute drive to go into halftime, to be able to run, to have they got the ball back with 1:44, and they ran 12 plays. So they were very efficient. They were very precise in terms of matriculating the ball down the field and being able to make sure that, it wasn't always the same play. There were plays, where Hurts is, scrambling to escape pressure. Hurts was on the move a lot in that. But, I mean, that's a grown-ass man drive to be able to get the ball with, under 2 minutes, run 12 plays, put your team in a position to score. They score, get the play called back on a penalty. Now you move the ball back 10 yards, and then on the next play, then you still score. To see that where they got setbacks throughout that drive, but still were persistent, still pushing the ball down the field. Those are characteristics that we're looking for in that guy. So, the more that we see in that player is only going to make this team better. you're gonna laugh, but the other thing that I noticed when I went back to look at like my notes, the punter.
He was a monster.
The punter was a monster. Had three punts with within 10 yards.
No laughing matter, dude. That makes a difference, Don.
Between the 10-yard line, right? I recognized it during the game, but then when I went back to look and see, like, 3 of those punts were, between the 10-yard line and the goal line. And that was huge for field position because then the Atlanta drives subsequent are 3 and outs, punt. And then you're getting the ball back near midfield. So being able to flip the field like that and pin them back. And at that point, when they're punting the ball within, in that 10-yard line, the defense was playing out of control. The D line was getting pressure on Matt Ryan. They're able to get that pressure onto him, and then you flip the script and flip the field, and now you got the ball back, and now you're right. And at that point, it was nonstop, right? They were hurry up, run the ball, get on the line, run the plays. That was huge. And, another Aussie to add to our love list, and we can get rid of another
player, Australian Premier League soccer player, Auburn Tiger. Listen, the Eagles have really bad luck drafting receivers, really good with signing punters, man. I feel like we've always had a good punter.
My dad was trying to convince Patty J when we were watching the game on Sunday that Savarocco was Italian. Savarocco wasn't from Australia; he was Italian. His name was Savarocco. I'm like, Dad, he was totally Australian. No, I wasn't. No, I'll fucking look it up. I'm like, Dad, no, he's Australian. He goes, I was just kidding with it. He's an Italian Australian. I'm like, Dad, you need
an Italian Australian.
You need to stop drinking, Dad. Savarocco is an Australian. He's a great national treasure. Austin signed him for life.
Yeah, and we won 32-6. I keep looking at the score, but so watching some of that, Hargrave was lined up over the guard that they just drafted, that kid Mayfield. He looked really bad.
Yeah. Well, they I liked him starting left tackle, right? Or they're starting.
So
I think he's starting guard.
Starting guard.
Did you see the comments before the game, leading up to the game, from the Atlanta coach when he was talking about him going up against Fletcher Cox? And the coach's response was, "We all got to get baptized sometime." And I was texting
your coach
Chip
doesn't have faith. That's great.
And I was texting Chip during the game. I'm like, he got baptized in that game, and he was just getting eaten. And it didn't matter who they were lining up in that spot.
And I don't know if it's a bad week. Like, people have bad weeks. I get it.
Right.
But if you're an NFL,
he looked like Winston. He looked Winston just as bad.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you're the Eagles, you need that's what a good team will do. If there's a weak spot on that line, you attack it and you exploit it. And then they moved. I think they moved him over to Hargrave's side, and then Hargrave was just eating all day too. So the one thing that was kind of crazy was I looked at the stat sheet after the game. Fletcher Cox didn't record any stats. No pressures, nothing. So I get it. He was getting double teamed. But bro, you're making a lot of money. People talking about you being one of the best. I need you to make an impact somehow. Now listen, we didn't need you that week. We're going to need you this week. We're going to need you against Dallas. We're going to need you against Tampa. We're going to need you against the Chiefs. So getting doubled or not, I mean, Aaron Donald gets doubled too. He still makes noise. You know what I mean? The best of the best, you're going to get doubled. You got to figure it out. These guys.
It's very true. It's very true.
It's and Fletcher, I'm thinking, you're going against Brandon Brooks and Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson every day in practice. They're much better than these lines that you're playing. You know what I mean? So I know you got something up your sleeve. Let me see. I just want to see him. We talked about it before, Rich. I think he makes way too much money because I don't think now he's as good as he was. It's fine. But you're the captain of defense, right? It's your team. Everybody says it's your team. So let me see something.
I need more. I need to see. I still think he's top 2. Him and Aaron Donald.
He probably is, but Aaron Donald wouldn't have no stats in the game. That'll never happen.
No, you need to make more of an impact being that guy. You can't just be the guy that everybody focuses on and everybody else feasts. I mean, that's what he's there to do, but it's not. We know what you're there to do.
But I feel like him.
Start getting some sacks. get a tackle for a loss, start hitting guys in the backfield.
As good as you are,
you've got to be able to shed one of those blocks.
Like, as good as you are, I feel like if I was that big and strong and that nasty on the field, I'd be like, you know what, this play, fuck this. I'm really mad right now. I'm pushing both of these dudes into the quarterback.
Bully someone.
You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. They're going to need him. Maybe he just said, you know what I'm doing right now is these boys are eating. I don't need to do nothing right now. Right. Fine. Listen, I respect it. It's week 1. I don't want you to get hurt either. But turn on the gas this week.
I agree.
Get a couple sacks, bro. I want to see some Fletcher Cox kick the door down next week. You know what I mean? I want to see him kicking the door.
I would love to see him kick the door down. It's been quite some time since I've seen a Fletcher Cox sack, so I would like to see one. Dom, what do you got queued up?
Fletcher Cox. Where's Mike at? Is that Mike or is that Dom?
There's Dom.
Dom.
Fletcher Cox.
Fletcher Cox.
What do you say, Rich?
I said, what do you have queued up? You look like you had something to say.
No, the only thing that I would that was kind of like the thing that I had to look twice on was the couple of times where Sirianni went for where he went. Hold on. So I love when he went for 2.
Yes.
When they got a penalty on the extra point. Now they're on the 1 yard line. Go for 2.
Yeah.
That I love. The going on 4th down. There were a couple of times where like you had opportunities where you were within field goal range to maybe put points on the board and kind of extend the lead. But I kind of saw it both ways, right? I saw it where, you could get momentum and extend the drive and kind of really just kind of shove it down the throat. Or you get in that position where, we've all watched games where that 4th down stop kind of flips the script.
Yes,
and turns the momentum. So it was just something that I want to see how that progression moves into the next couple games. How often is he going for 2? What is the spot in relationship to the momentum in the game, and how could that? Because you don't want to be in a position where all of a sudden now you go for it on 4th down. You don't get it. They get a quick score. They come back. They get a stop, and now all of a sudden you had a 14-point lead, and now you're up 4 within 2 minutes. Because we've all seen it happen. It happens so fast. Look, no sooner did I turn on when I was watching the Chiefs Browns game, right? How fast did the momentum in that game flip? Cleveland was shoving it down their throat all day long. And all you saw that momentum switch in the 4th quarter on a muffed punt. It was Cleveland. It was the Browns being the Browns, right? But Cleveland muffs a punt. Kansas City scores a touchdown. They come back. They get a stop.
Give the ball back to Mahomes.
They give the ball back to Mahomes.
Tyreek Hill goes off.
And now you're done. And at that point, at home, as soon as that momentum flips, you're done.
Agreed.
So I want to keep. That's one thing I want to keep an eye on. Throughout this season,
it'd be nice for the momentum to be on the Eagles' side for a change. It's usually always we were the Cleveland Browns for a couple of years.
Yeah,
it's like let us get a block punt. Let us get a block double doink like against the Bears. You know what I mean? Let me get something.
You gotta love it. But at this time, I would like to thank our sponsor, La Terrain Watches. You're looking for a beautiful watch, nice, finely handcrafted piece of art. Visit la-terrain.com. Use promo code DOB at checkout. Buy us some shots. Buy us some shirts. Be good people and buy yourself a damn good watch. I have mine sitting in the cart. I just need some money, and then I'm going to buy that goddamn watch because it's a beautiful watch. I cannot wait. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. But we are going to transition into our final segment of Final Thoughts because it's that time. The birds flew the coop. We got that big W. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what they do against San Fran. We're going to talk about that more next week on the after show. No, I'm just kidding. We don't do after shows. We're just fans. I'm probably gonna be drunk. Nick, the 2 kids. I'll be running around, probably getting stung by a bee at 7:00, and I'm just gonna be like, whatever. Let's talk about it on Tuesday. And Don's gonna have 18 screens with all the games. Like Don doesn't even do red zone. Don just subscribes to all the outer market channels so he can see all the games. He's got like 9 different Foxes. It's pretty beautiful.
I will tell you that it's one thing that I like. So we all know what the meme is, right? You get the 70-inch TV, and what ends up on the TV, right? It's all the kid shows, right? It's cartoons. So on Sundays, right? It's the takeover. So I got the big TV on one, I got the little TV on another, I got the iPad. I got it all set up. It's the one thing where I just kind of just veg out during that time. So don't underestimate that. It was a couple of extra bucks, but it's well worth it, I will say. Just to be able to just have it on, even when they are watching something on the screen, being able to just have the game on the side, just not watching it on my phone.
Yeah,
definitely makes a difference. So, Rich, before we do final thoughts, Rich,
I think it's time. I think it's time.
We gotta play a song for the Phillies. It's time. It's time. It's done.
I won't cry. I'm smiling.
Oh my God.
I'm crying happy tears, Nick, because I don't have to root for this dog shit team anymore.
People, please get fired.
Please.
Oh my God. Kyle Gibson.
I don't want people to lose their job, but these guys have a lot of money. These guys have a lot of money. They can afford to lose their job. Okay.
Oh my God. I want all of them to lose their job. I just hate that team.
John Middleton, sell the team to us.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll give you like $8. But I guarantee
a 99.99999% discount. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all we're asking for. Give it to the fans for 1 year and see what we do. I will fantasy baseball the fuck out of that team.
It's time. It's time to just the fantasy land, fantasy camp is over. You've got a roster of guys besides Harper, who's
MVP.
Killing it. The rest of those guys have severely underperformed throughout the entire season. So
you have Segura, who's okay, and that's it.
Yeah,
right. You got JT who underperformed. You got Nola who underperformed. You got Hoskins who's out for the season. You've got the 17
out for the season.
The 17 guys that they started in center field. You got Kutch who's on his last leg. Like, it's done. We'll put him to bed. It's done.
And I am not speaking about them for the rest of Eagle season because we are full-blown Eagle season, but we also have another housekeeping issue to address. Our very own Don Juan will be hosting a collaboration podcast with Jason Voorhees from Sports and Metal called Drunk on Ice. It will be a bi-weekly show where they will be talking all things hockey and Flyers. So you can catch that a little bit before. They're going to hash things out, but it's going to start a little bit before the season. And then during the season, you'll be able to catch 2 episodes a month. I think it's going to be awesome. It gives Don somebody to talk hockey with, and I'm very excited to learn more.
Yeah, we're gonna. We've kind of touched base on some graphics and some artwork for that, but we're kind of excited. We've been kind of going back and forth as far as something that would be like twice a month. Just kind of recap. Some of it be local content. For the hometown team, for the Flyers, but then to talk about all things hockey and really get into where they sit, where those teams are, playoff races, rivalries. Try to really expand what we're learning about to be able to kind of reach that audience of not just the hometown team, but that anybody who would enjoy hockey content.
And I am excited to hear it, and I'm very excited to see what you guys put out. It is going to be dope. But it is time for our final thoughts. And Nick, I'm gonna let you start.
It's just go Birds. That's it. That's it. We gotta win this week. Gotta go 2-0. Dallas plays in LA against the Chargers. That's gonna be a tough game for them. We know the Chargers can score. So hopefully we're 2-0. One of those teams 1-1, then we got 2-0-2 teams. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
Anytime you get a game up early, listen, you don't win the season in September, but you can lose it in September. So we need to make sure that we win these games because the people are realistically, do we expect them to beat Kansas City and Tampa? No. Do I expect them to compete in those games? Yeah, I do. But, I'm already kind of banking on, okay, those two. Listen, I would love to steal one of those. That'd be nice. Yeah. Real nice. Especially against Tom Brady. Tom Brady struggles against that NFC East, man. So we'll see. But let's just go Birds this week, man. That's it. I don't want to talk about nobody else.
I love it.
That's it.
Don, what are your final thoughts?
Just feeling good. Feeling good about sports. It's been a while. We've had to deal with a shitty end to the Sixers season and the disappointment of that coming on that season came on the heels of an insanely disappointing Eagles season in which the team literally fell apart in front of our eyes. And then to deal with the whole offseason of all the Wentz drama. There is no drama. It is all on the field, watching the players, watching the progress, and not for nothing, but we're also dealing with the tail end of a team that we just put down to bed and put to sleep in the Phillies. Yeah. It would be nice to not have another Groundhog Day of another season that looked exactly like the one before. So it felt really good to not live and die on every play, but also pay attention to some of the details so that we can see the progress of the players moving forward. So all positive vibes going into into week 2.
I love it. And my final thought is softball starts. Goonie softball starts on Sunday. Let's go. Welcome to the Goondocks. We're back. We are back. We have some new additions. It's going to be a fun time. I'm just excited to get back out there. There's nothing better in the fall than waking up early on Sunday, going to the field. I love when it's the brisk fall, not this hot bullshit. Fuck you, summer. I'm over this heat. Hoodie,
the shorts and hoodies.
Shorts and hoodie. I love it. Getting to the field, talking fantasy beforehand, talking fantasy while I'm on the mound. Somebody yelling something to somebody, just playing the game, getting done at 11, coming home, taking a shower, setting up out back or setting up downstairs and just watching my Birds kick some ass. I think it's go Birds. It's go Birds all season. It's go Birds for life. I am super excited for this team. Do I think that we are going to be a superior powerhouse? No. But there's a level of excitement that I have now that I haven't had in a while, mainly because of all the BS that the ginger fuck put us through and all the Howie trying to make too many decisions and the leaking things to the press and everybody thinking they know everything that's going on. I'm excited because, like you said, it's like a clean slate. Something's been pulled off my chest and I can breathe again. I feel confident. I know if they go out there, they're going to give their best effort. I think we have a true leader in Jalen Hurts. I do. Do I still think he needs to improve? Fucking right I do. I think if you're not improving in life or on the football field, then you're just doing something wrong. We always got to keep striving to do better than we did yesterday. But I see that in him. I see him always trying to put one foot in front of the other and trying to be better. So I want to commend that guy. He's my quarterback. Let's roll out this Sunday. Let's see them beat up on San Fran. There's no reason why they shouldn't win this game. And let's see what they can do. Maybe they can make something happen. But if not, I'm still excited because I love this team. I like the addition of Devontae Smith from the draft. I love what he brings. That kid's footwork is remarkable. I love signing Malata. I just love the 7th round story. Has only played football since 3 years ago. There's so much you can get around and get behind with this team that, for me, as Nick and Don said, go Birds. I'm Rich, Don, and Nick, Philly. Peace out. And as we say on the show, fuck Spike Eskin and fuck Rich Paul.
And fuck Ben Simmons.
And fuck Ben Simmons. That's the new tagline. Welcome to Pettyville, bitch.